drawn to a station that believes in you. We are the pride of the people. This is High Power 102.7 FM, the pride of the people.
Yes, good morning and welcome to In the Papers, a program where we review and preview what is making headlines in the papers this morning. I am Inioluwa Adekoya, and with me this morning I have got the Punch newspaper, the Old newspaper, the Daily Post newspaper, and the Nation newspaper. Right about now, we will take a short break. When we get back, we'll give you the stories and more headlines coming your way shortly. Glad to have you back. The program you're on to is In the Papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the list of our top headlines this morning, where I've got this on Ondo State. Abiamo scheme. Ondo offers 54,000 pregnant women, children free health services. Still on the Old newspaper, NYSC sets date for 2026 Batch A orientation course. Still on the Old newspaper, talking CVR Phase 2. Osun Rec warns staff against unprofessional conduct. And now I take a flight to the Punch newspaper, still talking Osun State. Osun warns against school encroachment as alumni renovate classrooms. Still on the Punch newspaper, Ramaphosa, Nigerian scholar slams Trump over Maduro capture. Still talking headlines on the Punch newspaper. IG deploys newly promoted DIG 17 CPS. And on the Punch newspaper, talking ADC tickets. Atiku rejects calls to step down, attacks Tinubu. And on the Nation newspaper, talking 2027, ADC rules out automatic ticket for Atiku Obi. Still on the Nation newspaper, Jonathan reaffirms commitment to PDP pledges active roles. And now to the Daily Post newspaper. Tinubu appoints first female DG Nigerian Law School. Finally, on my end, on the Daily Post newspaper, talking Abia Women protest alleged hijacking of community resources. And with that, we will take a short break. When we get back, we will give you a list of more headlines and stories coming your way. Yes, glad to have you back. The program you're on to is in the papers and is coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of our list of stories this morning, Abiyamo scheme. Ondo offers 54,000 pregnant women children free health care service. And now to the details. The Ondo state government has revealed that no fewer than 54,000 pregnant women under 5 children have benefited from Abiyamo scheme under the state contributory health insurance scheme. Special advisor on health to Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, Professor Simidele Odimayo, in an interview with newsmen recently in Akure, said that the scheme enabled pregnant women and children under the age of 5 to enjoy free health services. He further stated, and I quote, the Abayomi scheme that incumbent governor is running currently is an advancement of the Abiye scheme. With this system, all pregnant women and children below 5 years are qualified to enjoy free health services. The government has done it in such a way that we register them, we put them in an insurance system, and by that insurance system, the government is able to run it without owing facilities, without running into debt, and is able to maintain it. Currently, we have about 54,000 people that have benefited from this. Thousands of cesarean sections have been carried out for free. So we have the program really advancing, and I want to encourage our people and let them know that this is also another opportunity to embrace. The essay further commended Governor Aiyedatiwa for taking health as a priority and said the introduction of informal sector in the state contributory health scheme was further to enhance the health of the people. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Herb newspaper with the headline, Abayomi scheme, Ondo offers 54,000 pregnant women children free health services. Is still on the Oak newspaper. NYSC set date for 2026 Batch A orientation course. And now to the details. The National Youth Service Corps has announced that the 2026 Batch A Stream 1 orientation course will commence nationwide January 21st, according to 37 NYSC orientation camps nationwide. According to a statement posted on the NYSC official X handle on Tuesday, camp registration, it says, and I quote, camp registration for all corps members will take place from Wednesday 21st to midnight of Friday 23rd of January 2025. The swearing-in ceremony holds on Friday 23rd of January 2026, while the closing ceremony will take place on Tuesday 10th of February 2026. Director General of NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, wished all prospective corps members safe travels to the respective state of deployment. He further advised them to avoid night journeys while traveling. The management further urged all corps members to adhere strictly to the orientation schedule to ensure a smooth and successful orientation program. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Herb newspaper with the headline, NYSC sets date for 2026 Batch A orientation course. You're still on the Herb newspaper talking CVR Phase 2. Oshun Rec warns staff against unprofessional conduct And now to the details. The Resident Electoral Commissioner (REC) of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Osun State, Dr. Inioluwa Adekoya, has issued a stern warning to INEC staff involved in the ongoing second phase of the continuous voters registration against unprofessionalism in the discharge of their duties. In a statement, the INEC boss urged them to conduct themselves with professional empathy and integrity, reminding INEC officials that the success of the exercise rests largely on their attitude and conduct towards prospective registrants. Dr. Adekoya cautioned them against intimidation, harassment, and exploitative tendencies, stressing that the INEC officials are expected to act as guides rather than obstacles to citizens seeking to register. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Herb newspaper with the headline, Osun REC warns staff against unprofessional conduct. And now I take a flight to the Punch newspaper to still talking Osun State. Osun warns against school encroachment as alumni renovate classrooms. And now to the details. The Osun State government has assured renewed efforts to protect the landed properties of public schools in the state. The assurance was given during the handing over of a renovated block of 3 classrooms and staff rooms by the 1985 set of Baptist High School. The facilities were handed over to the Commissioner for Education, Mr. Inioluwa, who was represented at the event held on the school premises on Tuesday by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Mr. Muritala Jimo. Speaking at the event, Inioluwa said the issue of encroachment was not peculiar to Baptist High School, adding that the government would ensure the security of the schools and stop encroachment. He further stated, and I quote, the issue of encroachment is not particular to Baptist High School alone. However, I want to assure you that the present administration is working comprehensively to ensure the security of the schools. We recognize the importance of safe space for students, staff, and facilities. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Osun warns against school encroachment as alumni renovates classrooms. You're still on the Punch newspaper. Ramaphosa, Nigerian scholar, slams Trump over Maduro's capture. Now to the details. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, former Nigerian Minister of External Affairs Bolaji Akinyemi, and a cross-section of scholars have condemned the U.S. government under President Donald Trump over the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores, describing the action as a violation of international law and Venezuela's sovereignty. Maduro and his wife were captured by the U.S. force on January 3rd and indicted on charges linking them to narco-terrorism conspiracy. When arraigned recently at the New York Federal Court, Maduro pleaded not guilty to 4 criminal counts, including narco-terrorism, cocaine importation conspiracy, and possession of machine guns and destructive devices. Ramaphosa made this position known on his official X handle recently, stating that South Africa stood in solidarity with the Venezuelan people. He further stated, and I quote, "We reject utterly the actions embarked upon by the United States, and we stand with the people of Venezuela." He further stressed that the South African response is guided by its commitment to international law and United Nations Charter, noting that the U.S. action undermined Venezuela's territorial integrity and sovereignty. It is our commitment to international laws and United Nations Charter that informs our deep concerns at the action of the United States in Venezuela, which have undermined the territorial integrity, and sovereignty of the UN member state called Venezuela. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline Ramaphosa, Nigerian scholar, slams Trump over Maduro's capture. Still on the Punch newspaper, IG deploys newly promoted DIG 17 CPS. And now to the details. The Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, has approved the deployment of the newly promoted Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Gamal, alongside 17 commissioners of police to strategic departments, commands and formations across the country. A statement issued recently by the Force Public Relations Officer, Benjamin Unday, said the deployment was aimed at strengthening operational capacity, enhancing leadership effectiveness, and improving public safety nationwide. According to the statement, the IG Guma has posted to the head of Force Intelligence Department. It added Inioluwa Adekoya has been deployed to the Delta State Police Command, Umaru Adekoya to the Kebbi State Police Command, and Iyama Edobo to the Bayelsa State Police Command. Others include CP Osage John Agnes Irabo as the Commissioner of Police Anti-Human Trafficking Unit, FCID Annex Lagos, CP Johnson Babalola as Commissioner for Police Special Inquiries Bureau, FCID Abuja, CP Adegbega Adetoye as Commissioner for Police Marine Unit, Force Headquarters Abuja, CP Tabitha Bako as Deputy Commandant Police College Kaduna, CP Omar Faik as Deputy Commandant Police College Ikeja, CP Audu Bosso as Commissioner of Police General Investigation FCID Annex Kaduna, CP Edwin Ogbegaga as Commissioner of Police Community Policing Force Headquarters Abuja, CP Arupo Ekpe as Commissioner of Police Investment Office, Department of Logistics and Supply Force Headquarters Abuja. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline IG deploys newly promoted DIG 17 CPS. Yes, and still on the Punch newspaper, talking ADC tickets. Atiku rejects calls to step down, attacks Tinubu. And now to the details. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has ruled out stepping down in the race for the African Democratic Congress presidential ticket, while accusing President Bola Tinubu of alleged interference in the internal affairs of the opposition coalition. Atiku, in a statement released recently by his media advisor, Paul Ibe, called on Nigerians to resist efforts by the All Progressive Congress to intimidate and weaken its opposition. The former vice president comment came amid speculations that he is facing pressure to step aside for the southern candidate to emerge as the ADC flag bearer in the upcoming election against President Bola Tinubu. Recently, former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi formally joined the ADC, and there are reports Atiku may be planning on a joint ticket to the APC with former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso to clinch the ADC title. But while rejecting any calls to step down from the presidential race, Atiku accused Tinubu of deliberately weakening the opposition parties in order to have a smooth sail in 2026. He accused Tinubu of misgovernance, labeling his administration as a growing national liability. He further stated, and I quote, "For nearly 3 years, Nigerians have endured one of the harshest periods in the recent times, an era defined by punishing economic policies and shrinking democratic space under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu." If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline Atiku rejects calls to step down, attacks Tinubu. You're still on the Punch newspaper talking VIP protection crisis. And a CDC moves to recruit 30,000 officers. And now to the details. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has requested presidential approval to recruit about 30,000 additional personnel, citing increased pressure on the agency stemming from its expanded responsibilities, particularly in protecting very important persons. According to findings by Newsman, the request was made after a meeting held last month involving President Bola Tinubu, the Minister of Interior Olubumi Tunji-Ojo, and the Commandant General of the NNCDC, Ahmed Odi. The proposed recruitment is separate from the ongoing 30,000 personnel recruitment currently being carried out across the paramilitary service. The engagement came amid a surge in requests for VIP escort services nationwide after the withdrawal of police officers from such duties. The development has exposed manpower gaps within the Corps and promoted top-level interventions to boost its operational capacity. Sources within the agency confirmed that the rising demand for VIP protection informed discussions with the President, during which the NSCDC leadership sought approval to the recruit additional personnel. An officer familiar with the development told Newsman that the President gave assurance that the request would be favorably considered, with plans underway to recruit about 30,000 new operatives to strengthen the Corps. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline: VIP protection crisis and a CDC moves to recruit 30,000 officers. Yes, the program you're on to is still in the papers, and it's coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. To watch us live, you can reach out to us on our social media handles on iPower 1027 FM. That is for Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And on X, you can reach us at iPower 1027. And right about now, we will take a short break. When we get back, we will give you more stories and more headlines. Yes, glad to have you back. The program you're on to is in the papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. You can watch us live on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at iPower 1027 FM and on X at iPower 1027. And now back to the Punch newspaper. Police arraigns 33 for violence, public nuisance. And now to the details. The Delta State Police Command has arraigned 33 suspects for their incrimination and violent disturbance and acts of public nuisance across the state during the just concluded Yuletide. The police public relations officer for Delta State Police Command, SP Bright Edafe, in a statement released recently, noted that suspects were arrested during the New Year Eve security operations in Asaba. He further stated in our code for clarity and avoidance of doubt, several suspects were arrested at different locations within Asaba for various offences bordering on violent disturbance, public nuisance, drug-related activities, conducts like to cause the breach of public peace during the New Year Eve operations. According to police spokesperson, upon conclusion of preliminary investigation, 33 suspects were found to have prima facie cases against them and were duly charged to court and arraigned before the magistrate court. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline: Police arraigned 33 for violence, public nuisance. Yes, I've got this one on the Punch newspaper. 30 to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan oil will be sold to benefit U.S. Then that was from Trump. And now to the details. Oil extended losses recently after Donald Trump said Venezuela would turn over millions of barrels to the United States, with equities were mixed after the record-breaking start of the year. Crude has seen a wild swing since the U.S. president ordered the toppling Saturday of Nicolas Maduro, his counterpart in Caracas, and said Washington would run the country while demanding total access to its key resource. But both main contracts sank more than 1% on Wednesday, having lost 1.7 to 2.0% on Tuesday after Trump announced the latest development. Interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 to 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil to the United States, he wrote on his Truth Social platform. This oil will be sold at its market price, and the money will be controlled by me as the President of the United States of America to ensure it is used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States. Analysts said the shipment lowered the risk that Caracas would have cut output owing to its limited storage capacity is in supply concerns, but added that the outlook for commodity was for lower prices. That comes as the crude market remains well stocked after OPEC Plus agreed to boost output. And now, if that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline 30 to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan oil will be sold to benefit U.S., says Trump. And now to the Nation newspaper, talking 2027 ADC rules out automatic tickets for Atiku and Obi. And now to the details. There is no automatic presidential ticket for any aspirant in 2027. The African Democratic Congress clarified recently. According to the party, while the consensus option would be adopted in selecting the standard bearer, members would resort open, competitive and transparent primary if the option fails. ADC National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi, who spoke on national television, noted the growing speculation intrigues coalition negotiation and the defection of prominent politicians from other parties to the ADC. However, he said that no decision has been taken on who will fly the presidential ticket, adding that all aspirants are eligible. Abdullah stressed no conversation is going on at the moment about who will be the standard bearer or who will be running mate to who. Every single issue has not been resolved regarding who will fly the flag for the party in 2027. Already, two chieftains, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, who joined the party last week, are believed to be eyeing the ticket. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline ADC rules out automatic ticket for Atiku Abubakar. Yes, and still on the Nation newspaper, Jonathan reaffirms commitment to PDP, pledges active roles. And now to the details. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has reaffirmed his loyalty and continued commitment to the People's Democratic Party. He declared that he remains an active member and would intensify his involvement in its affairs as it prepares for election. According to PDP factional national chairman Kabiru Tanimu Turaki, Jonathan gave the assurance recently in Abuja while receiving members of his faction national working committee. Party elders and other stakeholders who paid him a visit at his residence. The former president used the meeting to restate his belief in the party and its capacity to remain a strong and viable platform for democratic contest in Nigeria. Turaki for the State and High Court, President Jonathan assured us that he is still the card-carrying member and he remains active in the party. He also told us that he would even be more active in the activities and affairs of the PDP going forward. The factional PDP chair explained that the delegation visited Jonathan to formally introduce members of the newly elected NWC and brief him on developments within the party since the last national convention held in Ibadan in November. The PDP chairman further noted that Jonathan expressed appreciation for the visit, reaffirmed his emotional and political ties to the party that produced him as vice president and president. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline, Jonathan reaffirms commitment to PDP, pledges active roles. And now I take a flight to the Daily Post newspaper. Tinubu appoints first female DG Nigerian Law School. And now to the details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has appointed Dr. Olugbemisola Titilayo Odusote as the Director General of the Nigerian Law School. A special advisor on information strategy, Bayo Ononuga, disclosed this in a statement recently. According to the statement, the appointment takes effect on January 10, 2026 for the 4-year term. The 54-year-old Odusote is currently the Deputy Director General and head of the Lagos campus and will become the first woman to lead the institution since its establishment in 1962. She will succeed the current Director General, Professor Isa Ayatu Chiroma, whose tenure expires on January 9, 2026 after 8 years of service. Titilayo obtained her LLB degree from Obafemi Awolowo University and was called to Nigerian Bar in 1988. He holds an LLM from the same university, specializing in company and commercial law. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Tinubu appoints first female DG Nigerian Law School. Yes, finally on the Daily Post newspaper, talking Abia, women protest alleged hijacking of community resources. And now to the details. Women from 3 villages of Amadi, Amayao, and Onuzo of Imobi Autonomous Community of Uturu, Abia State, have protested around the community, alleging that some individuals from one of the villages are attempting to grab control of granite deposits in their land. The women who describe themselves as farmers claim that the traditional ruler of Imobi Autonomous Community is a Simon Chukwuemeka is not aware and never authorized such takeover. According to the Imobi women, there will be escalation of property in the community if a few individuals are allowed to appropriate the resources belonging to the entire citizen. Speaking on behalf of women, Mrs. Florence Uka, Mrs. Nene Ori Eji and Okwachuku Okwa Nkechi said the Environment Impact Assessment EIA should first be carried out on affected lands to assess and prevent any hazard that may arise from granite drilling and blasting activities. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Women Protest Allege Hijacking of Community Resources. Yes, the program is still in the papers and it's coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. For comments and contributions, you can reach out to us on 0816 552 4699, 0816 552 4699. And on the program today, we have our political in-house analyst, and we will be dissecting some of the stories that we read out to you and preferring answers to questions that will be given. Yes, good morning, Akin.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the program today.
Many thanks to you for being on the program this beautiful morning.
The pleasure is mine.
Yes. Now, first of all, we want to talk about Venezuela. We all know that.
It's been in the news for some
Yeah, like it's trending. It has been trending and it's still trending. The issue between Venezuela and Trump, and the fact that he captured the president Maduro and his wife Celia, and at a particular point in time, he has been accosted. His actions have been condemned by a lot of people, and he was condemned by this particular person, and the person called the person individual called him out. Nigerian called him out and said he's antagonizing, or he's going against international laws. What do you think?
Thank you very, very much for having me on the program once more. You see, the issue of Venezuela, I don't see it going to rest any moment from now. Because number one, we shouldn't deceive ourselves. It's a complete infringement on the country's integrity. For no reason should another president come over and just take over another person's country under the disguise or under the pretense of him laying charges of drug trafficking. Now, if at all drug is being smuggled into your country, I think what you should do commonsensically is for you to block the route by those drugs that are coming in. But rather, Trump took a different route entirely. In the history of American presidency, I don't think America has ever experienced a president of this nature before. And I don't think the world has equally experienced such thing. I begin to imagine, how could you, for flimsy excuses, infringe on another country's sovereignty, on another country's integrity, as if that was not enough. There was a time he actually captured a particular vessel, thinking that was drug that was inside. But fortunately for him, which I want to believe it is deliberate, it was filled with oil. And Trump now took the vessel to a particular depot in Texas and offloaded it there in Texas, and that country's oil. As if that was not enough, when he arrested Nicolas Maduro in a commando-like, he arrested him and his wife to the extent of him being handcuffed and being prosecuted in an American court. The question is this: has Maduro offended America? And if at all there's a misunderstanding between two countries, I think where such case should be taken to is The Hague, and not a court in New York. But Trump arrested this man and cuffed him, paraded him on the street of New York, and he charged him to the court. Can Trump be the judge in his own case? You are having, I don't know where to place it. Of course, countries have been calling him out. Even his allies in the United Nations, they've called him out that what he did is a complete infringement of international law, and it's an established fact. If at all you're having an issue with your fellow country, all you need to do is to make a formal report at the United Nations, and also you to take laws into your hands. Well, I'm not surprised Trump is doing that. You're talking about a person that has never for once held a political office. He was never a senator. He was never a congressman. He was never a governor. He has never been appointed. You're talking about someone that's coming from the business world, a capitalist. Just found himself in the corridor or in the seat of American president, the strongest position in the world, if I must quote. You understand? Do you think he won't misbehave in such, under such thing? If you could remember this same Trump's first time, that was how he almost messed up the institution of the POTUS. That is the president of the United States. He almost messed it up, insisting that he won the election, to the extent that Trump led, though he later denied it, he led an insurrection in the parliament, that they have to vandalize the whole place and mess everywhere up. I mean, Trump is a monumental error in the history of American politics. So I'm not surprised that he's going about this route. But of course, countries will continue to call him out. And recently, he has now said Venezuela should be depositing 30 to 50 million barrels of oil. That will be the one to sell it, and they will not share the money among themselves, for crying out loud. Can you share meat equally with your teeth? You want to share meat now, you and I. And the next thing I did is to put the meat in my mouth and cut it. Do you know the quantity of meat in my mouth? And I gave you the little one that is left. Trump is completely, if I don't want to use a derogatory adjective to qualify him, but what he's doing is completely against international law. It's against, in fact, it has infringed on the fundamental human right of the president, and he has equally, in fact, infringed on the integrity of Venezuela. So the whole country, everybody should come out and condemn Trump's act. But unfortunately, some people, for reason best known to them, are supporting him, like Mbadinok, president on moral ground. How could you infringe someone else's integrity on moral ground? What's the justification for that? So to me, Trump needs to be called to order, and not just by individuals, but by the entire United Nations itself. It should be called to order, and he should be able to pay a steep price for what he did. Now he's calling threatening Colombia president now. He's calling him to invade that place. What is it? And I see that is where the concern comes in. And that was why when he actually said he was coming to, for religious reasons in Nigeria, Trump is going about every country, looking at what is actually happening in those countries, predating on it, and exploiting it for his own economic benefit. That is how best I can say it. If I'm beginning to even suspect his invasion of Nigeria now, I'm beginning to suspect it. And it appears that some pundits are now being factual, or should I say, they've been able to pontificate on the fact that his invasion is more of economic reason, not religion. But of course, to a large extent, we opened the windows for him to come in. And now he's around. So I won't be surprised them if, peradventure, he starts saying that, okay, the uranium, the lithium, and other resources in the north will not be exploited, maybe for reason, maybe to take care of the Christian community that have been invaded. He can do such thing.
Yes.
So for him to have gone this far, I begin to imagine. So to me, what Trump is doing is completely travaillage. It shouldn't be allowed to continue on this route. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Akin. Yes, moving on to our next question, talking 2027 and ADC. As ADC, they have ruled out automatic ticket for Atiku Obi. What do you think about this? They are saying that they are going to have a consensus, and if that doesn't happen, they will have a democratic election that will be free and open to everybody.
Thank you very, very much. And number one, the coming together of ADC is the coming together of strange bedfellows. Different ideas, different concepts, but one ambition. And what's the ambition? The presidency. We're talking about an Atiku. When it comes to primary election in Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken, the only one he lost happens to be the one he contested against Buhari. And if that was under the ADC then, is it ACN? Sorry, ACN. If not for Bola Tinubu, I can assure you, Atiku would have defeated Buhari landslidely. When it comes to primary party's execution, give to Atiku. He has a firm grip of any party he finds himself, and I can assure you he will outsmart, he will whisk them away politically when it comes to primaries. Now, he's not coming again under the pattern of ADC. Of course, Atiku will not expect the consensus because he knows the game. He knows how to go about it. But one thing I know for sure is this. The formation of ADC is basically a northern agenda. That is one. Secondly, is for the purpose or for the political ambition of Atiku. So for Obi to have gone to ADC is a welcome development. I won't condemn him. Many people will be going to APC. So there's room for carpet crossing. There's room for you to change votes. There's room for for alignment and realignment. So if Obi decides to realign with Atiku, with ADC, is a good one. But one thing I know for sure is this. If indeed they go to the primaries, I can assure you, now Atiku has the money to flaunt around, to execute his primaries. Why Obi will tell you, I have no chichi. I not go give shishi. In the primaries, where the delegates are being counted, where people are vultures, where people are predators, where people actually need money. You say that you don't spend shishi. So we don't need to be disturbed. If they should go to the primaries, I can assure you, I don't want to start predicting what's going to happen. But I can assure you, I as an individual, I know who is going to win the primaries. They're talking about someone that has been nursing their ambition for years, someone that has executed all manner of, and Obi on his own part, he has never conducted one primaries. And power is not served a la carte. That we must understand. So the mentality of anybody thinking of consensus, the mentality of anybody thinking that will be given to him, even in Freetown, not in Freetown. Like our president postulated, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, power. You grab power and run away with it. And he did that. So I don't think anybody that is not fit politically can wrestle Atiku at the level of primaries. So it's going to be a very interesting one anyway. But let us keep our fingers crossed and let us see the result. But of course, it's a very good one. There is no automatic ticket for anybody, and if there's no consensus, everyone goes to the primaries. It's a very good one. That is how to enshrine democracy. That is how to make sure that our democracy is more fortified, is more stabilized. There should be a free, fair primaries. So that's my submission about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I guess we have no option but to keep our fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Yes, the number to call for comment and contribution is 0816-552-4699 for comments and contributions and feedbacks to the matters we're discussing and the stories earlier discussed. You can reach out to us on 0816-552-4699. And now moving on, Akin, we have this on the VIP protection crisis. We know that from recent events that the police have been withdrawn from the VIPs, and now the NSCDC have been asked to take their place. Now the NSCD is asking, they're requesting for 30,000 officers. They're saying, they are understaffed and they need more. Do you think that is what is needed at this particular moment in time?
Nigeria is a country that you should know how to play the game. Whenever the ball is in your court, the ability for you to play it really goes a long way in determining how far you will go. Now, for the NSCDC to have called for recruitment of more staff, I think is on the right track. Simply because the police have been withdrawn from all these VIPs.
Okay.
Like Alain Dume rightly said, he said, giving individuals security operatives is not the solution, but let us make sure that we have a stable security in the country. For crying out loud, all these VIPs that are now advocating for police officers to guide them and stuff like that, if only the government has done the right thing by making sure that everywhere is secure, do we need VIPs? I mean, it baffles me. It is only when it is when our leaders want to exploit we commoners. That is when you see them say that in Senate climb. Now, in that same Senate climb, do their VIPs goes about with government paid securities? No. If you want a private security, you go and employ them by yourself with your own hard-earned money. I have never, to the best of my knowledge, seen a congressman or a congressman in the US or a parliament man in the UK going about with security details. I have not seen one. If I've even seen maybe Australia or thereabout, their prime minister was walking on the street going to his office. I've seen a situation whereby a prime minister or a president of the country rode a bicycle to his office. But in Nigeria here, you'll be amazed at the arrays of vehicles. You'll be amazed at the arrays of military personnel, security personnel guarding them at the expense of the citizens. Now we are lacking security personnel on our various military security structures, all scattered with all these VIPs. Should I shock you? Even majority of the security personnel even prefer to be following the VIPs about, because you know why? They make little money from those various escorts. I mean, these are the things. I keep on saying it. If you allow a bad ideology to fester so long, it becomes the way of life. It becomes the normal thing. It's only in Nigeria you see abnormality become the normalcy, and we shouldn't be. These VIPs, whenever I see them at the international airport, they carry their bags themselves. But when they get to Nigeria, you see that security carrying their bags for them. Even there was a particular incident that happened. I saw a security a police officer removing this sandal or the shoe of his VIP. It could be as bad as that. So all Nigerian government needs to do is to make sure that there is enough security for everybody. not just for the VIPs. And if the NSCDC are not saying that they need more ends to protect the VIPs, I think it's a welcome development. At least is that you call it another means of generating employment for the youths that are used to be employed. And of course, indeed, we need more security. But of course, to solve this insecurity problem, I think the president should make sure that the State Police Law Act is passed so that each state can have their own security. Security is local. Information gathering is local. Intelligence gathering. It goes beyond you carrying guns here and there. No. It has to do with intelligence gathering. So I think the president should hasten up in making sure that states are allowed to have their own various police platforms. Just like in the US, we have the NYPD, the LAPD, and the rest of it. So I think that is the best way to go. If we are adopting a particular federal system of government from the US, then I think we should adopt it in totality, not the edited one. We bring it, we go to US, we adopt their system of government, we bring to Nigeria, we edited it to suit our own interest, to suit our own purpose and intent. So that's my submission about the whole thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Akin. Yes, for comments and contributions, you can reach out to us on 0816 552 4699. The number again, 0816 552 4699. You can also reach out to us live on Facebook, on Instagram and TikTok at iPower1027FM, and on X at iPower1027. And Akin, please, can we have your parting shot?
Right. Thank you very much. My parting shot has always been, and will always remain, that we do the right thing. If only we can do the right thing, if not 100% wise, maybe just 60-70%. I think it's a fair deal. Let's do the right thing. From the presidency to the governors to the ministers, name it, even to we ourselves, even to the fathers and mothers back in the house, to the children. Let us endeavor to do the right thing. If you can't do it 100% wise, which is perfection, and nobody can be perfect, let us attempt 50%. I can assure you, Nigeria will be far better off than we find ourselves. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Right about now, we will take a short break. When we get back, we will give you a recap of the headlines read out to you, and we would end the program. Yes, glad to have you back. The program is In the Papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. We are beginning from the list of our recaps this morning. We informed you on the Herb newspaper that a biomiss scheme Ondo offers 54,000 pregnant women children free health services. We also informed you on the Herb newspaper that NYSC has set date for 2026 Batch A orientation course. We also told you on the Punch newspaper that Oshun has warned against school encroachment as alumni renovate classrooms. Still on the Punch newspaper, we informed you that Ramaphosa, Nigerian scholar, has slammed Trump over Maduro's capture. We informed you on the Punch newspaper, talking VIP protection crisis. The NSCDC has moved to recruit 30,000 officers. And on the Nation newspaper, we informed you that ADC has ruled out automatic ticket for Atiku Obi. Finally, on the Daily Post newspaper, we informed you that Tinubu was appointed first female DG Nigerian Law School. Yes, and with that, we've come to an end on today's edition of In the Papers, We hope this review has kept you informed of what is making news around in the papers this morning, and we hope that this review has informed and educated you of one or two things going around today. And until next time, I am Inioluwa Adekoya. Stay tuned, and more programs coming your way shortly.